Hey everyone, here with us today is Caroline Pennington. Caroline helps female entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their personal brand and business on LinkedIn. Speaking of LinkedIn, that's how we met. And what instantly caught my attention was her contagious, uplifting energy, her authenticity, and keen knowledge of how to optimize LinkedIn. And like me, Caroline has her own podcast, which I had the honor of guesting on. So thank you for joining us today, Caroline. It's great to be back together with you.
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. You've built a really powerful brand on LinkedIn just in the short time that we've been connected and I've been following you. That is really obvious. Can you tell us a bit about your journey to creating such a presence on LinkedIn?
Sure, it did not start this way, and it was really messy in the beginning. So, to back up, I used to be a headhunter, executive recruiter. So, I did that for 15 years. I started placing temporary professionals when I got into the recruiting game, and then fast forward 15 years later, and I'm working placing C-suite professionals, so the high six, seven, and eight-figure income earners. And so I was like, okay, if these people, where was I finding those people? On LinkedIn. So I was spending a lot of time on LinkedIn for my corporate job. And I worked on the agency side. So that meant that when companies wanted to hire, typically on the low, you go hire a headhunter. So I was spending my majority of my time on LinkedIn for my corporate job. So I decided to start my personal brand 2 years ago. So my initial content, everything I was putting out there into the universe of LinkedIn was about recruiting.
Yeah.
I wanted to be the go-to executive recruiter in my field. So I decided to start posting 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
I had plenty of things flop. I got no engagement. Nobody wanted to hear what I had to say, but I just kept going. And that is the one thing, the message I would say to your listeners, that LinkedIn is the long game. So
Yeah.
it's going to take at least 3 months to start getting traction and getting success. So if you're interested in starting a LinkedIn journey, give it at least 3 months.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned 8 a.m. Is that like the golden hour or the time when there's mo the most engagement in the LinkedIn community?
Yes, I would say between 8 and 9 is the golden hour. I have a client who is a healthcare executive. She's a
Yeah.
female entrepreneur. She was a nurse. Now she's a healthcare entrepreneur. And she posts at 10 a.m. because the healthcare professionals work on shift works. And
Right.
so they don't start scrolling until 10. So it just depends on whatever your audience is. But for me, it was 8 a.m. Monday through
Yeah.
Friday.
And once you get, I can speak from personal experience. I had a LinkedIn account since 2007, I think. It was bare bones. I had my name, I had where I was working, and maybe a couple things sprinkled in here and there. But I didn't really know how to optimize it. And then fast forward to about a year and a half ago, when you are really disciplined and you consistently stay at it, I can 100% say that not only do you see more engagement and create a community of people in the niche that you want to grow and scale, it's just the support, not just the support from other people in your connections, but you find ways to support yourself and to learn and to grow, and then not only as a human being, but in the corporates, in like in the business that you want to see succeed. I know there's a lot of platforms out there, and when I was trying to decide where should I go, because I have an Instagram account, I have Facebook, and of course I had LinkedIn. Why do you think that LinkedIn is such a powerful space, especially for female entrepreneurs who want to grow their brand and business?
It is not crowded on LinkedIn. Facebook and Instagram is so crowded. So LinkedIn just crossed 1 billion users last year, and only 3% of people post content on there. So what that means for you, if you're listening to this, it means you have a huge opportunity for visibility. People post on Facebook and Instagram, 60 to 70% of people post on those platforms, and they have between 3 and 4 billion users. So just do the math there.
Yeah.
3%, 1 billion users on LinkedIn versus 60 to 70%, 4 billion users on the other platforms.
And then the other piece that I've heard is someone who wants to really grow and scale their business, you have to consider who your audience is. And generally speaking, on Facebook and Instagram and like TikTok, you're getting a certain element where I think it's more, not to say that LinkedIn, there's a definite social element to it, but it isn't in terms of the leaders and the heads of businesses whose attention you want to catch. I think that higher level is is on LinkedIn. They're seeking out professionals who can in some way add to what it is they're doing. Whereas I feel like not that, again, not that it's not, I've had plenty of engagement with some of my professional offerings on Facebook and Instagram, but it's a whole different experience in the LinkedIn community.
Yeah, I mean, as an executive recruiter, I was finding the directors, the vice presidents, the C-suite professionals actually on LinkedIn, and whether or not they're active on there, like posting or engaging, liking, commenting, they're probably not doing those things, but they are on there. So that just is a testament. If you want to get hired to speak on stages, the people who can hire you are on LinkedIn. If you want to get hired to go do workshops on site, they're on LinkedIn. If you want to be published in a magazine, guess what? The editors are on LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the average income of the LinkedIn user is over $100,000, which means they have disposable income to spend on your products, services, or offers.
Right, right. I wanted to get back to, I mentioned support, and as someone who is like in it, in trying to grow what it is I'm so passionate about, and that's mindfulness, I noticed that support is so helpful in keeping the momentum and helping you to be in the right mindset as an entrepreneur. And what I love about your brand and the community that you created on LinkedIn is that you can sense not only a deep quality of support from you, but also from the other female entrepreneurs that are in your network. There's so much camaraderie, and it is really palpable even remotely. So I love that, and I sensed that very, very quickly after we had our episode on your podcast together. All of the uplifting comments and cheering on was very much appreciated. So I'm just curious, as a very successful, high achieving businesswoman, what do you think other women need to hear when they're trying to grow their own business?
Collaboration over competition all day.
Mm.
And the more that you give, lifting up other women, maybe they're in your niche, maybe they're not, the more you will receive. The reality is there's enough out there in this world for every single person. And so the more that we uplift each other, the farther we'll go.
I like that. I like that. So not having to like outdo someone or be better, but when we're in it together, we can lift one another up, including ourselves. Speaking about lifting ourselves up, I noticed that in all the doing that we tend to do and how much time it takes when we're looking to grow a business, that it's easy to get caught up in automatic pilot. Like we're just constantly doing where we say, okay, well, I'm just going to get in touch with one more person on LinkedIn, or I'm going to send out one more email. And in juggling just the business end of things, combined with some of us women are mothers, some of us take care of other family members or whatever is going on in our personal world, that we can stretch ourselves really thin. And it's so important, I think, especially when we're putting so much into our work, that we're aware of how we are. So is there anything that you practice, or the clients that you work together with, is there any type of wellness routine or anything that you recommend that can help you to ground yourself and really reconnect with who you are and what you want to achieve in your business?
I love this question. I'm going to answer for two parts. So, from a business side, you want to have systems in place so that you can build the machine so it's humming for you because we all have busy things going on, kids, family members, whatever.
Yeah.
So, for me, that looks like scheduling everything. So, schedule all of your content. That is one thing that makes everything so much easier because I don't have to sit there at the computer screen and think about, okay, what am I going to say today? What am I going to post? It's already done.
Yeah.
From a health perspective, I get up and work out every single morning at 6 a.m. So for me, that looks like I get up at 5, I work out at 6, I come back, have breakfast, then I know my posts go live at 8. So that's when the engagement starts going. So sometimes I'm sitting here, in my PJs on my phone doing the comments and everything. So it doesn't look all glamorous and pretty
Yeah.
like on the back end, but it's getting done. And I do try to practice mindfulness and meditate I'm really not good at it. I'm trying to get better at it, but 2 minutes a day. And that at least can get my mind in the right spot to at least try to be set up it for success.
Yeah.
And I find those 2 minutes um, help me with being focused
Yeah.
and actually, I do my 2 minutes on the porch. And so I typically hear the birds singing. Typically it's sunshine. I'm in South Carolina. So I feel like those little things, even though they might sound silly, they go a long way.
Yeah, and careful. I heard you say you're not good at it, and no such thing. 2 minutes to be able, in the busyness of our world, our lives, and as a really successful businesswoman, to be able to take 2 minutes and to just be and to take into the sounds, take in the sun, the warmth, and that really adds up. So just don't discount that. It's not an all or nothing or a good or bad. So I wanted to make sure that we give credit where credit is due. And I agree with you. I find that getting an opportunity to sit down, whether it is a chunk of time on the weekend or any day of the week, to map out your content, to sort of see the themes that you want to share each week or certain days, and to have it ready to go. That's a great thing about LinkedIn. You can schedule for our listeners and viewers who are newer to LinkedIn. I love that you can not have to worry about running around if you're doing 12 different things and you don't get what you want to post out on time. You can pre-schedule it. So that's really great. And I do think that some type of routine where it's like we don't have to think. We get up at a certain time, we get in our time to really ground ourselves. And then if we can sprinkle in some mindfulness practice, I think it's very helpful with focus and enhancing clarity and really gaining a sense of what it is we want to achieve. I know that just this morning, I call it my LinkedIn homework. And so I'm offering a workshop next week with, you may know Jessie Brown. She is a coach and also has a mindfulness practice. So in honor of Earth Day coming up, we have an offering coming up in a week. And so we created a LinkedIn Live event and just inviting people, going through, seeing who might most benefit from what it is we're offering. So it does take a certain amount of intentionality, I think, and having a routine that makes this easier for us to actually do. So can you share with us whether there was a particular client, or maybe it was something personally that you experienced where you consider it a really successful outcome?
Yes, for the past year and a half, every Friday, I dedicate my post to Friday Friends. So every single Friday, I say LinkedIn community, it's another Friday. Here is 3 people that I enjoy following and hope that you do too. And so I encourage my community to go over and follow and connect with these people. And as all I do is I tag their names
Yeah,
and then I copy and paste their tagline. So it takes me literally 2 minutes to put this post together. But this post is an organic post I do every single Friday, and I love putting the list together because it uplifts the people I tag,
yeah,
And I've had people even slide into my DMs and say, like, can I pay to be on that list? And I'm like, no,
Uh,
it's not for sale.
yeah, yeah,
But it's been a really cool way to uplift other people in my community, the other LinkedIn creators, and just continue helping each other out and highlighting what the work that we're doing. And honestly, the people I highlight on those posts are, I really love what they're doing. So it's a
yeah.
completely genuine and organic post. And so that's been really successful because what happens is those people come back around and then sometimes they feature me or whatnot. And again, nobody has to do anything. They're not obligated to do any of it, but it's just been a good giving action that I've done that I really love doing. So that's Friday features work really well. Again, uplifting other people. Maybe it's a client that you
Yeah.
have or a vendor that you use. And so I would encourage any of your listeners to start doing that if they're going to start the LinkedIn game.
I like that. It reminds me in what I teach with mindfulness when we talk about, or we actually practice and experience loving kindness meditation, where, and it doesn't have to be like mushy gushy, but just that act of kindness to others and kindness to ourselves as someone who was the recipient of another LinkedIn connection who just randomly said something really kind about, I think they listed not three, but maybe like five people that you want to learn more about or connect with. And it just came out of nowhere. And to be the recipient of a tag like that or a post, it was very heartwarming. And then it makes you want to lift them up. And then just in terms of yourself being the one to do that, to kind of give recognition where recognition is due. It's just a really nice, as you said, it's organic. It's not like someone's paying you. And I also want to acknowledge that the way you've grown your community, it's not scammy. Like it is very much organic and authentic, and it comes across through the community that you've built and the posts that you share with everyone. So I want to acknowledge that as well, because it's not that I'm like LinkedIn police, but you can, when you spend as much time as it sounds like we both do on LinkedIn, you can feel into the messages and the tone of certain people's post and whatnot. So thank you so much for sharing that. Now you have me thinking, I'm like, I want to share, I want to tag three people this week and have like a feel good moment like that. So I may have to follow your lead for Friday. But if somebody wants to learn ways to optimize LinkedIn, they want to work with you, they want to learn more from what you have to offer, obviously, LinkedIn, they can connect with you, and I'll share that information in the information that I attached to this episode. But if somebody else wanted to learn more about you, where should they go?
My website is femininefounder.com.
Okay. And any other ways that they can reach out to you? Anything that you think would be helpful for them to, maybe if they're just feeling overwhelmed by the process of being, growing a new business, being an entrepreneur, anything, any little tidbit that you can share with them?
Just start is my first encouragement. And even if it's my clients all, they're like, okay, LinkedIn seems really scary. It's really not scary. It's all it is a social media platform. Start putting content out there. Start with 1 day a week, then go to 3. And then if you have the time and energy, go to 5. And that would be my encouragement to your listeners to just start. I mean, that's the hardest part, is just starting and staying
Yeah.
consistent.
Yeah, from my personal experience, the scariest part of putting yourself out there is a video, and then it's like riding a bike. Once you start doing it, it becomes fun, and you really deepen your relationships with the people in the LinkedIn space. And just for all of you listening or watching, connect with Caroline, because I'm telling you, it was just the warmth and the support was instant, just from what you see Caroline posting, what she supports on your page, and the community that she has. So Caroline, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope that you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.